Good evening. Sometimes what sounds like a ridiculous plot of a Bond movie in which a supervillain wants to infect the world with the disease because he is the only one who has access to the cure and then hold the world to ransom to pay for the cure. There are various combinations of the themes that we've seen from all sorts of movies in the past few decades. Sometimes somebody wants to put a laser into space to blow up cities unless the Pentagon gives them $10 billion. This dastardly reality seems to be coming upon us, which requires a very cogent and careful conversation on what we need to be deeply suspicious about, what we need to be deeply inquisitive about, and why the truth of what happened in China is so important. A report has now been published in a UK newspaper that claims that as of mid-January, and I'm going to put this on our screens, the Chinese establishment, in fact, the very same lab in Wuhan, filed a patent. Let's get our touchpad on our screens, PCR. Filed a patent for a particular medicine, this called Remdesivir, on January 21, a patent for the commercial use of Remdesivir, forgive my pronunciation, was filed in China. So on January 21, they file a patent exactly 24 hours after the Chinese establishment confirms that this is a human transmissible disease. So on January 20th, confirm. I want to take the timeline back further. January 15th, seal the deal, trade deal with US, in which you insert a force majeure clause, which means if there's an act of God, you are no longer bound by it. 5 days later, admit to the world that this is a human transmissible disease. And 24 hours later, the same lab in Wuhan, which is under suspicion, files a patent for a potential medicine. Which would mean that if this does turn out to be one of the potential cures or parts of the cures, and if a commercial use global patent is held by China, the Chinese companies would get a percentage of all global sales or will have to supply the chemical drug to the globe. Bond villain, Dr. Evil sort of plot, suspiciously right there. Now, what is even more troubling is the what ifs. We are getting more reports that seem to indicate that even before December 15th, perhaps as early as November, China knew about, or at least at some level, knew about the existence of a novel coronavirus. There are various reports that suggest that it's not from the wet markets, it's in fact from the Wuhan labs that actively went and captured bats from caves to study the viruses in those bats, and this COVID-19 actually came from there. Now that would give, in toto, China a head start of roughly 6 months. Now imagine a scenario, all bets are off, that China comes up with the first vaccine. All of us will have to buy it, depending, it's a 1 dose or a 2 dose vaccine. You'll have to sell about 15 billion doses immediately across the world. Who knows if they're already sitting on one and just biding their time to then enrich themselves. It's a plot, it's a caper, like I mentioned several times, that smacks of the dastardliest of movies, but we are seeing it play out in actual reality. Let me get into this conversation. Gautam Mukherjee joining us on the broadcast, Professor Madhav Nalapat, the editorial director of the Sunday Guardian. I also have Major General J.K.S. Parihar, who's also a doctor, joining us on the broadcast. And Sumit Peer is also joining us on the broadcast. General Parihar, if I can start with you, sir. Now, without a doubt, the Chinese have had a head start in studying this disease. Maybe a head start of 4 months, maybe a head start of 5 months, maybe a head start of 6 months. How deeply suspicious, if it's true, sir, would you find them trying to patent certain drugs just hours after admitting that this was a transmissible disease?
From day one, I am 100% sure that it is a planted action by the China. It is a laboratory-induced virus. And the coronavirus, it's a broad terminology, and there are 7 strains of the coronavirus which is going on for several years. And amongst those two, this Spanish and this South Arabia, etc. So it is already means they would have been working for at least 3 years, I would say. Because I know I've been trying to get some patent on certain devices and all. It takes you at least minimum 3 years. So they have developed this virus, and simultaneously once it has been tested, then they started working on the vaccine. Once they were totally confirmed that this is all in the action, then probably the second part, what you say in the December, it has come. So for me it is not the 6 months, I would say it is 3 to 5 years they would have worked on this exercise, and nicely they have put world in a big trouble.
And that's the extent of where the conspiracy theory can go to. But with every day that passes, it seems to get more and more confirmed rather than more and more disproved. And the Chinese are deeply, deeply upset. Deeply, deeply upset. Professor Madhav Nalapat, you know, for many lay viewers, and I'll call myself as a lay individual, I'm neither a doctor, not a military expert, but the suspicion seems to be building up. We first had the fact that they had the force majeure clause put into the trade deal that they were negotiating with the Americans. And the trade deal incidentally was concluded in the middle of January, just days after they confirmed that this was now a global or a human transmissible issue. And literally 24 hours they start filing patents for these drugs that could cure this. Seems deeply suspicious that they have a great intent of planning to get rich out of curing corona.
You know, Rishabh, I just want to say that, you know, in India we have many saintly people. Mahatma Gandhi was very saintly. He wanted money to be sent to Pakistan when Pakistani soldiers were fighting Indian soldiers. That was the degree of his saintliness. Nehru was extremely saintly. He wanted the whole world to develop, and you know, the whole and other countries to get huge benefits, because he thought India could pay. And we've had a line of saintly policies and saintly people. I think, you know, our politicians are very happy to be very saintly. The Chinese, I can tell you, I've gone there multiple times. Nobody there pretends to be saintly at all. They are very clear that they are interested in the welfare of China, period. They are very interested in doing what is best for their country, period. Now, I don't think anybody there pretends to be a saint or acts like a saint. Now, their foreign ministry may say some saintly things, but the reality is, look at what a country does and not what a country says. So the fact is, Rishabh, I don't know why we're so surprised. Now, talking about COVID-19, look, when the Americans signed that deal, they must be having a multi-billion-dollar intelligence operation in China. They had multiple people resident in Wuhan.
Professor Malapat, as you might know, sir, that Politico has filed a report 24 hours ago. It's still an unconfirmed source-based report.
Exactly.
That as early as November, they knew that there was some sort of dodgy activity regarding some disease going on. Now, this is a political report. This has been filed in America. We don't know the veracity of it yet, but it's suspicious.
The fact is, American policymakers did not take notice of it, or higher up the level, this report was not sent. And most importantly, Rishabh, what was the WHO doing? The Americans or the Chinese, they've all got their own interests, and maybe. But the WHO is supposed to be a neutral world body. The WHO has had people in China 365 days in a year. They were free to go to every part of the country, including Wuhan. I'm sure they were able to go to Wuhan even after January 23rd. What was the WHO doing? Why didn't the WHO warn us? I love this, you know, constant debate and dialogue that the Chinese should be saintly, the Chinese should not take advantage, that they should make sacrifices. The Chinese don't pretend to be saintly. They don't pretend to make sacrifices. They are looking out for themselves, Rishabh.
Yeah.
And I think that's what all of us
And that's a lesson for all of us. Gautam Mukherjee, now gambling is illegal in this country, but if you were to be betting people, it almost smacks now, almost, that for all we know, China is already sitting on a vaccine and they are just waiting, biding their time, and suddenly one day they'll come and announce, hey presto, we have found a vaccine for coronavirus. This is how much it's going to cost. We have the manufacturing capacity to make, 500 million doses. Please line up.
Well, I think Rishabh, let's draw a parallel between this kind of dastardly, filthy plot and the weapons of mass destruction idea that was floated deliberately by America and the allies, the NATO allies, and post 9/11, instead of hitting anybody that had anything to do with 9/11, they went and smashed Iraq into the ground, deposed it, created a situation which is in fragments to this day. What they really gained out of it
Nobody
wasn't
knows.
really oil. They just made a holy mess of the whole thing. Now, if the Chinese, and it seems to be on anecdotal evidence at any rate, if the Chinese did develop this in the lab, if they have foisted it on the world, well, the joke's on the world. What are you doing? You mean to say the whole West can't find a vaccine? The whole West can't find a swab to figure out whether you're infected or not? You're begging China. China is sending you fraud items. They're sending you ventilators. You can't make a ventilator in the whole of Western Europe and America and India and everywhere else. This is absurd. And you've had, not 6 months, but you've had 2 months at least. And in 2 months, at last you've got Oxford coming up with something that's on human trials. You've got India, but we tend to ignore our own people. When they come up with, the IIT Roorkee apparently has come up with
a cheaper test,
a testing method. And the ICMR is sitting on its hands, can't make up its mind whether to use it, waiting probably for Modi to say yes or no. So we go on like this. I think, and I agree with Professor Nalapat entirely, that this is about real politics. And if they have turned the tables on the United States and the rest of us because they were being put
Okay,
under
so
pressure,
let me. Okay, now the question is, I'm going to come and ask this question. How do we do it, Dr. Malik? Now, a few months ago, there was a particular company that bought out the pharmaceutical rights to a drug called Daraprim. Now, this drug costs $1 per pill to produce, was being sold for $3.50 per pill. Martin Shkreli, who was and is used for AIDS patients, he increased the price from $3.50 per pill to $750 per pill, and of course became infamous for doing so, simply by buying out the patent. Now, how deeply suspicious are you, sir, that 24 hours after China admits that this is a transmissible disease, the same lab in Wuhan files a commercial use patent for a particular drug that could potentially be beneficial?
Look, it needs to be properly investigated by the international agencies. I think it is absolutely unethical. And this also proves that probably China was much before this pandemic happened, that they were knowing that human-to-human transmission will occur, and over a period of time the requirement of this drug will probably go up. So that is why they have filed the patent much before they informed the international community about this impending pandemic. So whenever the business ethics are playing with the life of people, there should be a complete inquiry. I agree with Professor Nalapat that what was WHO doing and what the WHO is doing right now after getting all these information. And as far as the remdesivir is concerned, it is not shown to be of any benefit
currently,
as far as the first trial has gone. So it is not used to be of any clinical or any laboratory antiviral benefit. So that is my take on it.
Okay, so frankly, Sumit Peer, at this point of time, while all of us are hunting for a medical treatment or a vaccine cure, either we assume a race is on, okay, and the race is in a good cause. The race is to save lives, okay, that we need to develop globally this vaccine. The first person who does it has done a massive humanitarian service, and you're going to save thousands of tens of thousands, perhaps even lakhs or even crores of lives by doing this. Or we assume that the race is fixed, that there is a potential now that exists that with a 5-6 month head start, for all we know, whatever that could be, we don't know. We simply don't know. That the Chinese are already with or close to sitting on a vaccine, and as soon as they see some other country which has had a successful clinical trial and are about to go, they'll go bang, hey presto, we've got it, okay, start buying from us.
Rishabh, let me answer your question. First of all, congrats for bringing this up, because this we have been debating for weeks on NewsX now. Now see the sequence of events, Rishabh, just 5 or 6 quick points. First of all, Prime Minister Trump calls it the Chinese virus, then backs it up, then kind of backs out of it. Prime Minister Trump questions if there was a letter from Taiwan to WHO talking of human-to-human transmission, why was it ignored? Point number 3, Xi Jinping goes to Wuhan wearing a 10-cent mask, no hazmat suit, no biosuit, no safety. So what makes him so confident? Either he did not go to Wuhan or they had some kind of protection. Now look at the video which you mentioned, Rishabh. I have seen that video on various media channels. There are 2 Chinese centers which are clearly talking, going and getting bats is risky. But the other one says there's a lot of benefit into it, right? Getting these bats is a lot of benefit. Now filing the patent. Now China is the only country who can do mass production. Maybe they've even done the mass production. You can decide to put $20-30 million and have let's say 2 million or 10 million doses ready. If you fail the clinical test, is okay. If you pass, you will have the early mover advantage, come up with the drug, flood the whole market. What was giving China so much of confidence? And if you look at the death rates, if they are real as what China says, then how come China has the minimum death rates? Now filing of a patent is a very important issue, Rishabh, because if drug is worth nothing, why are they filing the patent? Why is the same lab filing the patent? Nobody files patents ka cow dung. So there is a story to it. There is a strong conspiracy theory which is every day folding, it's kind of folding out. It's like the pages of the book which are opening. There is no doubt China has something more to what I can see. And another thing, they've been sending world these samples which they call aid. And when they reach the world countries,
they don't work.
Interesting analogies when they send a mask to Spain where they caught, they send them by a train, Rishabh. 50,000 ke mask is $50,000 and sent to train by Mandarin. It takes 15 days to reach. By that time, Spain had already ordered $500 million of equipment, which did not work. Add all the chronology, Rishabh, all the things together. The only thing you make and go by the dates, by the excellent logic you have given. It is very, very suspicious. It's all conspiracy, sir. It is nothing beyond that. So tell me how is the president of Chinese Communist Party in Wuhan
simple pharmaceutical
without any
leverage.
They might have a virus. They might even have a vaccine as on date.
Now let me just quickly address this before I open Professor Nalapat again on what we can do. General Parehar, now at this point of time, paracetamol, which is going to treat a symptom of fever because we don't have a cure, HCQ, which has become the most wanted global commodity, which India is supplying in large doses. The active ingredients, India might be the biggest manufacturer of HCQ, but the active ingredients even of paracetamol, we import from China. Now they have us by the onions and the world.
See, that is the reason that all world is on heavily relying upon the raw materials from the China for drugs, for these PPE kits, masks, etc. So they have well planned it. There is no doubt about it.
Now,
and making the Indianization is very difficult because earlier we were using this raw material from the Europe, and the Chinese raw material is much cheaper than what we have been getting it. So China has planned its business strategies and tactical strategy is well in advance, and they are acting on it.
Okay, so then now, now let me distill this into what can be
accepted by
done.
us.
Professor Nalapat, for the mess up that, as Gautam Mukherjee has said, and we all know that the logic of the Bush administration, which was that, okay, Taliban terror attack, how do we make Iraq pay for it? Because of course, what happened in the first Iraq war. But the one thing that did change subsequently was that the Americans made a big push to become oil independent if they needed to be. Now, what is the realization for all of us that we need to become HCQ, paracetamol, vaccine, drug treatment independent of China?
Rishabh, that's right. The main thing is that too many logistics chains depend on China, and these chains need to move. I'm sure you've seen published reports that less than 5% of those who are moving from China come to India. They go to Vietnam, they go to Cambodia, they go to Indonesia, they go everywhere in the world, but less than 5% come to India. And I'll tell you why. You interview Y.S. Rajan, Dr. Y.S. Rajan, who's the closest colleague of, who was the closest colleague of President Kalam, a great patriot, and he will tell you about hundreds of Indian technicians, hundreds of Indian chemists, hundreds of Indian experts in various fields who have designed vaccines, drugs, so many new inventions, engineering, medicine, etc. What happens? In many cases, rivals, domestic or foreign rivals acting through domestic rivals, who then act through so-called independent actors, they get, they catch some policeman, they catch somebody, some media guy, let's be honest, and then they say, oh, this guy is a terror, he's doing something terrible. Some nasty stories come about him, and hey presto, the guy is now not busy in the lab. He's now busy trying to avoid jail and very busy trying to get away from this country as soon as possible. Look, Rishabh, we can produce a vaccine. We can produce so many things, but we have an ecosystem that is so easy to manipulate against people. You've seen the situation which 200 cases were filed in a few hours' notice against a single journalist. 200 cases. 200 people suddenly got, born and suddenly got this idea, oh, we must all file cases, and all similar cases. Now, the point is, unless you make some systemic changes and protect people from this kind of misuse of authority, misuse of contacts with police, misuse of contact with other agencies, look, we are going to continue to be stymied by our own incapacity to protect our own geniuses.
Okay, so let me just put this in quick perspective. Dr. Malik, now let's take the example of the rapid test kits. Now we were having this conversation. They failed in Spain, they failed in the Czech Republic, they failed in Kyrgyzstan, they failed in Turkey. We still bought them by the lakhs, okay? And the logic of buying them was that if we had not bought them, then there would have been critique that, look, these rapid kits are available, why aren't we using them? So we bought them, we tried them, it created a lot of confusion, and now we've said, listen, let's just put them on hold, let's not use them. The very same thing could happen over a medicine, the very same thing could happen over a vaccine. That somebody comes and says, we have a vaccine, we have a clinical trial that proves it, you immediately order 20 million doses, you suddenly find that 10 million of those doses don't work. We are going to get into a bad rigmarole. Therefore, independence in doing this ourselves become very, very important. As I mentioned, Dr. Malik, how important is it that even on crucial drugs like paracetamol and HCQ, that we become independent of relying on the active ingredient on China?
Look, I must tell you that as far as there are so many examples, if we just enumerate, number one, their kits were faulty, and that not only India, but plenty of countries have tested and they have said they are all faulty. Secondly, they have not reported their first case in time. They have not reported the impending pandemic in time. And now you imagine, even if a simple medicine like paracetamol, if you give to a patient who is having high fever and supposedly it doesn't work, it is say a fictitious medicine. As a medical practitioner, I can tell you the patient can get convulsions and a lot of other complications. With our kind of a country with 1300 million of population, we are in the habit. It is very difficult to break the old habits. We are in the habit of purchasing everything from China. Why? why we have purchased the kits from China when in our channel, in your channel only, we have seen that these kits were rejected by world all over. They were rejected by Italy, they were rejected by so many countries. Then why we have purchased? Now the question is that number one, we should boycott because ultimately it is the lives of people which is at the stake. It is not a question of purchasing a shirt or a trouser. It is a question of purchasing the medicines or the sensitive tests. If because of these medicines or sensitive tests, if we are using these products on 1,300 million of people, imagine what catastrophe it will bring.
Exactly, and we already have. No, we already have the example, doctor, of this was leaked out of China that phone chat that they were having of a manufacturer of those temperature guns that said, listen, let's fix the temperature gun so it shows everybody normal even if they're running a fever, so people will be cleared and will pass on the disease. I promise you, I was recently checked with a temperature gun and it showed my temperature at 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I had to tell the guy that if it was 80 degrees Fahrenheit, I would be dead. So obviously the gun is not working. Gautam Mukherjee, it seems because of our way of thinking, and as Professor Nalapat pointed out, we have a very saintly way of thinking. We can't imagine that somebody would want to do such a thing. Why would they do it? It would only be erroneous, certainly, that they would not want to do these kind of things. But the reality is there are many people who are going to be thinking exactly how to do this.
If you think about it, most people are saying that a vaccine needs 2 years in development and trials. Even after you found it, and more than 3 or 4 people seem to have found it, some are single dose, some are double dose, and so forth, but they have to go through the clinical trials and see, there's a whole sort of established process. In China, I suspect if they have a working vaccine, they have already seen to its efficacy because nobody outside Wuhan seems to get this disease.
Yeah.
Nobody in Beijing has it, nobody in Shanghai has it to speak of. If they get it in Beijing, it's wiped out in days flat. Any recurrence only happens in Wuhan. It's almost like Wuhan is the laboratory. And let's see what happens here. And if we lose a few people in the process, well,
doesn't
good.
matter.
It helps us test the whole thing. And then let's take it outside. If I were offered the Chinese vaccine, and unless I was on the brink of death, I would say no, thank you.
Because you don't know. And
it's whether it's designed to kill me outright.
Yeah, because you can't trust it whether it's designed to kill you or cure you. Exactly. And if it kills you, then they'll tell you guys didn't know how to use it, right? You mistimed it. So that was your fault. It wasn't ours. We have a very efficacious vaccine.
With paracetamol.
No, and the reality is this happens even in the fake drugs happen even in the best of times. Dr. Malik will tell us. Dr. Malik, even in the best of times, the danger of fake drugs is a real thing. Now, we know that sometimes fake paracetamol is made, which instead of 60-70% of the active ingredient, only has 20% of the active ingredient. And in certain cases, if you give a very low dosage, it doesn't kill the infection, it in fact creates immunity. The infection becomes immune to that particular dosage, so you have to get even more stronger dosages. This is a real thing. Now, this were to happen, it would be chaos, and we would be paying for it.
You're very right. Overall,
not just us, but the whole world is doing it with every gadget that they're sending across.
No, it's the marta kya na karta, right? They say, okay, we've got the PPE, come take it, so you rush and buy it, right? They say we've got the medicines, you come take it, we rush and buy it. It's marta kya na karta, right? And if you were not to do it, how much anger was there in this country? Every few days, somebody in the press conference was asking, when is the rapid test coming? When is the rapid test coming? Why has it not come? Why are you guys delaying it? Why are the Americans taking it and not us? This was happening right now. But Dr. Malik, the reality of what kind of situation this will create is very troubling.
It can create, Rishabh, I must tell you, it can create a big chaos. Imagine if we are using wrong kits, if we have faulty kits, if we are using, or we are using spurious medicines. I've talked of just a paracetamol, which is just only a pain relieving drug. And if it doesn't work, even the patient can die. What to talk of anti-cancers or for that matter, coronaviral drugs, or for that matter, serious metabolic drugs and so many other things. So our drugs are basically a two-edged sword. So even if we give a little less dose of an antibiotic, it will lead to bacterial resistance. And if we give more dose to the patient, it will lead to side effects. So if a tablet is specifying 625 milligram of paracetamol, it should have 625 only.
Correct.
Not 620 or 630 for that matter, because
Correct.
it is a human body where it is going to experiment there. So it is very disturbing. We would have been heading towards a
it's
disaster.
just an example. So, Sumit P, just an example, simple example we've experienced, right? You get in these rapid kits from China, okay? You know they've failed all over the world, but there is massive pressure in India, right? Why aren't you getting, when is the kit coming? You said 15th, why 16th, why 17th? So you get the rapid kits from China. Within a matter of few days,
Correct.
those rapid kits cause chaos to the point where you have to make a decision to withdraw them. Now, if the rapid testing kit causes chaos, if they are getting medicines and other things supplied from China, imagine how much more chaos they would cause if they turn out to be faulty. And what happens if we get in 100 million doses and those 100 million doses, 5 million are found faulty? You'll have to withdraw all 100 million because it'll risk life. It's a very serious thing.
Rishabh, it's you rightly brought one important aspect. It's a subject matter of policy. You see, we are the third to fourth biggest in Air Force, Navy and Army. And the fact is we don't even lose one connector, Rishabh. $1 worth of connector made in China, because India has a policy of nothing from China. If we can have it in defense, we should have it in all critical areas. We have been shouting on the top of our lungs, medicine is the most important area, because we are risking a lot of lives with Chinese products. So if we have this policy, no China product in defense, why not in all critical aspects or all critical sectors? That's point number one. India can do a hell lot of things, Rishabh. We were on this debate. We were debating how much time does it take to make an app. I told you it is 2 weeks, Rishabh, if we get our act together. Within 2-3 weeks, we came up with Arogya Setu, a wonderful app. There are a lot of things which India and Indians can do. It's a subject matter of
No, but
impetus
Sumit
and
Peer, with
stopping
Arogya
dependence.
Setu,
But the policy has to come.
look at how many of us
Nothing
are
from
worried about
China.
privacy right now. Privacy is more important right now, right? How many articles are being published against the Arogya Setu? Don't download it. Government will be
Rishabh,
tracking you.
something.
I mean, if you're sitting at home and locked down, a government is tracking you also, what's the problem? And once the disease is over, delete the app, remove it. You don't need it anymore. Sometimes it becomes,
Sir,
our arguments become ridiculous.
I'm telling you one thing. Rishabh. You give all your information to Google, Facebook, and all. No problem.
No problem.
But tell me one thing, Rishabh. If I am infected with COVID, isn't it your right that Rishabh Gulati and his family should be protected? Is my privacy more than your health and your safety? By which right? By which virtue?
It makes no
my
sense.
privacy
I was
is more important.
reading
if I infect you, you're
a
okay.
whole call
Isn't it your right to know?
privacy
Isn't
article
your right to know and
that
protect
was published
yourself?
yesterday on why you should not download the
What is
Arogya
this
Setu app.
privacy
It
crap?
makes absolutely
This
no
privacy
sense.
crap.
It's all nonsense.
This is crap.
And
Let
I'm
them
going to put
this
into
to
context.
Google
I'm going to
and
have this
Facebook.
debate tomorrow. I'm going to put into context. One single movement causes one major copper refinery in Tamil Nadu shut down. India's copper refinery capacity goes down by 40%. We go from a net exporter of copper to a net importer of copper. At the same time, suddenly, a Chinese company,
There are a lot of
mining company in Pakistan, increases its copper capacity by 5 times simultaneously. So, it's unbelievable sometimes how these games are played. Professor Nalapat, I'm short of time.
Rishabh,
Sumit,
one
I'm short of time.
quick
I'll take a break and I'll come back. But Professor Nalapat, what is
Rishabh.
important understanding is that medicine, the paracetamol, the test kits, the vaccines, for the next 2 to 3 years are going to be the most important human assets, both for life, liberty, and economy.
Rishabh, I can assure you that India can be the mother lode for pharmaceuticals across the world. And the only problem is that we have to ensure that an ecosystem is provided that provides the funds. For example, there may be young people, young scientists working in a lab. They don't have money. Somebody should give them the money. And incidentally, a lot of the startups these days are being funded by Chinese venture capitalists. Chinese are now increasingly putting money on Indian startups. And when they find problems in India, they tell those guys, okay, relocate somewhere. come to China.
No, I'll tell you, they relocate to Singapore. They're being asked to either relocate to Singapore and Hong Kong. I know
This is
people,
what's happening.
exactly the same case story. You can't raise funds here, you get an angel investor in from China, and then they say, okay, it's more convenient to set up a head office in Hong Kong or come to Singapore, and you shift there, you're outside Indian jurisdiction, and then that's it. That's it. Your startup which started here with your best brains is gone. So these are very real things that we need to quickly understand that they are going on. And let us be deeply suspicious. And I don't want to be in the I told you so zone 2-3 months later, when the Chinese miraculously one day come out and say that we have found the vaccine. There is a good chance now, for all we know, bets are off, that they are sitting on one waiting for the appropriate moment to start selling it. It's a very real thing that we should consider. I take a break. On the other side, what's happening in North Korea? The reason why this is important is not because we should be deeply concerned with internal dynamics within North Korea, but the Chinese use North Korea with the US and Japan like they use Pakistan with us to be a thorn in their sides. And now a Chinese team is going to be picking a next leader. We should be deeply worried about that also.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.